Cool. All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Walker Singleton. I'm from Acrylic Robotics, and I'm here to talk to you today about creativity and art. So, art is designed to be shared. If you think about music, you have access to all the best music on your phone whenever you want. If you think about books and literature, it's the exact same thing. But fine art, paintings to be precise, are not like that, and it almost feels like it's by design. Unless you're an investor or a collector or a gallery, you don't get to experience art in your day-to-day life. You don't get to see it in the offices that you're in. You don't get to see it really at all. You're stuck buying IKEA posters and prints and photos on your phone and your computer. And even more than this, even if you are someone who can afford high quality art, often you don't know how, and you don't have the tools that help you to pick what you want, and you don't have the confidence to go out there and buy something that's expensive because other people might not like it. And again, if we compare this to these other industries, you think about Spotify. Every morning you wake up, there's 5 new playlists on your phone that are curated specifically just for you. It's really easy for you to go out there and figure out what you like, what you don't like, and to navigate the world of all this uncertainty. And for artists, this is even harder because not only are they not or not only are they not able to sell their art because it's maybe not good enough, but it's because there's no bridge between what they're creating and what people want and what they're trying to buy. And so that's the culture that we're trying to shift at Acrylic. And there's lots of people who are doing other inventions and technology to try and solve this in well, and we think it's missing the mark. And it's because art lives where it's seen. You know, it's not a JPEG in your downloads folder. It's not a minted NFT, in my opinion. It's not a poster that sits in the corner of your wall, and it's certainly not in the basement of some collector's house. Art is supposed to be right in front of you. You're supposed to see sunlight on it and see the pigment in the paint. You're supposed to see the shadows and the light. If it's a dark and cloudy day, your art is supposed to be dark and cloudy. That's the whole point. But we don't have any technology that's enabling us to do this. And so there's a massive opportunity here that we're seeing to bringing this art to the 99%. 2/3 of Americans have never bought proper fine art, and that's true in basically any developed world. And with all these new technologies that I'm talking about, we're seeing a trend now. It's 89% of artists are using digital tools or AI somewhere in their workflow, but it's not aligning with what people are actually buying. Most art sales are still physical art. And again, I'm saying people want this, and we have 78% increase year over year. People want to put personalized, expressive artwork in their homes, in their offices, in hotels, whatever it is. But we don't have the technology to do this, to get physical artwork that enabled by all these new digital tools in the spaces that we live and we work in. And so that's what we've came in to solve. We're using robotics to do this, to bring the best of this digital and AI generated art into the physical world. It's been more than 2 years of R&D to develop a robotic system to do just that, to capture stroke by stroke, layer by layer, exactly what an artist is doing when they're designing a piece and making that a reality. We're letting the artist do the creative work once and the robot to do the production and automated work as many times as we need. And so there's 2 main ways that we do this. The first one is artist enabled. So an artist will use a digital tablet, they'll come in and they will illustrate what they want to create. They'll have an idea in their mind and they'll turn that into a reality. And the other one is AI enabled. And this is interesting because it allows you to go just from an idea to a reality. If you have an idea in text, if you have an idea in photos, you can turn that right into a painting. And the way that we're doing this, as you're creating your designs, you have to work with a specific artist style. And these styles will shape and morph how you change your idea into reality. And the artists who agree to be a part of this program, they're always compensated. So this is not replacing artists. This is not automating away a job. It's augmenting what an artist is already able to do with all of the new tools that we're developing across this digital age. And under the hood, there's a few key technologies that have enabled this. The first one is machine learning. We have developed an image to painting model that allows us to combine with these text to image models. So you can do any type of idea. Like I always said, it could be just text, it can be just image, it can be something in between. And this model allows us to translate that all the way over towards the robot. And as we're working in just the regular digital art space, we've had to modify all these tools so that when an artist is designing, we're capturing every single detail of what they're doing, what colors they're using, what order of strokes they're doing. Are they blending? If so, how? Making sure the robot can match the intent of what the artist is trying to do. And then the last thing, and the star of the show, is the robot itself. As you can see here, every single stroke is being put exactly how the artist intended, with the exact same color that they wanted. It's blending in the same way they want it to. And every time it's creating a final painting the same way an artist does. It's not printing all in one go. It's not a fake, it's not some fancy printer, it's just an automated artist. And so at the end, we call this an orograph. It's a painting, it's a real painting, it's made with real paint on real canvas. But it's affordable because it's automated, and it's replicable because it's automated. But it's a system that's designed with an artist in mind, so it actually captures the artist intent as they're doing it. And we believe that this will allow people to go out and think about what art they want to put in the spaces that they live and they work in, and then actually go out and action on that. And with any new product that we're building, you're disrupting markets and maybe you're inventing some new ones. So we're starting, there's a $17 billion existing art market. We want to go after hotels, commercial spaces, interior designers, people who buy art, and often they buy it at really high quantities. That means their only option is a print, and we're a direct replacement to that. And then we'll go after specific consumers, people who maybe they already want to buy art, or maybe they already are, but they can't find an artist that they really want to work with, or they can't find the specific piece that they like, or they want a little bit of customization. They can use our tools to do exactly that. And then we're going to tap into this $21 billion consumer market. We want to change the narrative so that instead of when you're surprised if there's a piece of art in a room, you're surprised when there isn't. And our team is pushing the limits, and we're excited that we're doing that. You know, our engineers, we're not just moving a button around on a screen. We're inventing something that's never been done before. We're using control systems and hardware to mimic human expression through machine language. And our business team, they're not selling a slightly different CRM. They're convincing people why art is important again, and then making them believe that they need it in their space. And our artists, they're not just day in and day out making the same thing so that they can make a sale. They're really allowed to index on their creativity and helping us build a foundation in this new digital age. That's all. We're building this, we're building it fast, and I'm here because I'm looking for people who are excited by that. If you're a builder or an artist or a roboticist or an engineer or whoever you are, if this speaks to you and you want to get involved in something building new and bold, come talk to me. Thanks.
So now we have space for questions. It's going to be around 5 minutes. So raise your hand if you have questions for Walker. Great job, by the way. So if you have questions, yep.
Thank you. What was the speed up on the video you showed?
Many X. That was, I don't know, 30 seconds.
Secret?
It's about 12 hours for that piece.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. So I work in Gen AI. My question was firstly, the works that you would develop with these machines, the painting, would it be original works that you develop like with your artist, or do you actually use current generative AI models? Because let's say one day the regulation changes and indeed there are copyright constraints, what sources would you use?
Can people hear me if I use this well enough? Does this work? Okay. That's to me, the biggest ethical dilemma that we're facing in any sort of AI space, but especially in creative AI space, and there's a lot of press and publicity around that, where what you do could very actively ruin jobs and people's livelihoods. And in our specific application here, if we're not involving artists in this process, there is no need to involve artists in this process. But we want to. That's something that's important to us. So the way that, to specifically answer your question there, the way that we're doing that is if you're going to pull an image off Midjourney or off Dolly, it needs to go through that filter of an artist style so that an artist is always being used in the generation of that. If you are an individual who wants to pull from a catalog of pieces, for example, the pieces there will be built from people artists on our team, external artists who are generating works, all of the above, as long as there's an artist in the loop, is the long and the short of it.
Yeah, I see. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Glenn Brisseth, nice to meet you. I guess I was wondering if you also handle any other types of like painting instruments, because like not everything is a brush, and especially related to the last comment about generative AI, you might need a different instrument. So could it handle that? Do you need to generalize to those types of combinations?
Yeah, right now, our tech only does a variety of different round and flat brushes. But yes, as we continue to build out what the robot can do, it will be able to do more types of tools and expressions. I compare it to an artist who's learning how to paint. You start with the simpler tools, and at the end, you're doing palette knives. And I don't know, I'm not the artist. I don't know the names of all the tools, but the hard ones. Someday our robot's going to do those too.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Hi, Walker. What does this look like at scale? Does this look like ghost factories with thousands of robots producing many, many pieces, or is every artist going to have this as a sidekick?
Hello? Nice. Yeah, I think it depends on what our specific market and which of those sectors that we're targeting goes into. You know, one of the main clients and industries that we're looking into right now and selling into is hotels. And hotels, they want huge quantities of the exact same piece over and over and over again. So it becomes this ghost factory of there's 500 robots that are able to produce 10,000 paintings a month, and we're filling all the hotels with that. And then there's this more consumer, much more specific and personal angle, and you want to be working with a specific artist and you want to go side by side, back and forth with them. So I think my bad answer to your good question is both.
Hi, thank you. By the way, this is super exciting. So thank you for the presentation. I'm going to segue a little bit on this question because I think it's related. Have you thought about the complexity and the challenge of the mix that you're going to have to deal with? Because mix is the enemy of robotics, right? The more varied your in-feed or what you work with is, the lower your margins are going to be, the higher deployment costs are going to be. So have you thought about the type of mix you're going to have to deal with, considering that you want to create all these different art pieces, and maybe not, but maybe it's going to be something you're going to have to consider in the future?
Yeah, I definitely think all right. I definitely think we have to put a lot of emphasis on where we're choosing to start what our product looks like because of that exact issue. If we tried to have an incredible range of tools that we're using in different styles, the robot's just not going to be capable of doing that. And that's a big reason as to why we've chosen to really start this play with people like hotels and corporate offices who have a much lower diversity and allow us to specialize at huge quantities and build out that system to begin with.
Hey, could I ask approximately how much does one of these pieces go for, and how do you buy them?
All right. So the price, it varies on two main factors. One is who the artist is, and the other one is how many you're buying. If you're working with a regular artist, someone who's not selling their paintings for $50,000, you're talking about a couple $100 if you're buying 5 or 10, maybe $600 or $700 if you're going to buy one or two. If you're looking to buy one, you unfortunately need to be a hotel or an interior designer because of this gentleman's over here exact problem statement that he illustrated to us. But if you know any hotels or interior designers, please let me know.
I think we have a question here on the back. Sorry, this will be the last question, but if you guys have more, you can come to the booth or see Walker.
Okay, hi. Nice talk about it. So knowing that it takes 12 hours to paint, or maybe that was 2 years ago, who knows? What are some problems that cause this period to be so long, and what are your solutions that you're working on?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a fundamental limitation to the speed that we can get at because of the way that we've decided to design these. You know, we're decided to do this whole process as a series of strokes, not any sort of thing in parallel. So doesn't matter how fast you can do multiple different strokes, at some point you're limited just by how many there are. The big bottlenecks for us that we're working on, though, is blending and drying time, and how can you control on a chemical level how long it takes your paint to dry, and starting to tune, I need these strokes to dry faster so I can basically loop this cycle faster. So that's our main limiting thing on speed there.
Thank you. Thank you, Walker.